This is Dr. Bass with the About That Life podcast, the podcast about life or living intentionally forever. Again, as we move into our next phase of the Caring for the Caregiver series at TAN TV, we want to make sure that we get a very holistic perspective. And what better way to do that than to get an expert? Someone who has been on both the front and behind the scenes with respect to caregiving. Today we have Dr. Patricia Adams, who is a marriage and family counseling expert. But now she takes those same skills and applies it to caregiving. So, Dr. Adams, how are you doing today?
I'm doing extremely well. Thank you for having me today. I'm so glad to get this story out about what it means to be a dual caregiver. I'm caregiving for you, but now I'm also caregiving for my mom, who's 88 years old. Yes.
Well, tell us a little, and I'd be remiss. I'm just so interested to get into this conversation. My co-director, co-host, Mr. Williams, let folks know a little bit about you.
Well, hey. Hello, Dr. Adams.
Good morning.
My name is Derek Williams, and I am the founder and owner of Group Innovation and Diversity Training Associates. I've been going for about 40 years. I don't do as much training as I used to, but I make myself available to the community. And it's a multidiscipline consulting, the training company focusing on cross-cultural awareness, organizational development, drug and alcohol abuse, all of those touchy-feely people areas that are so essential to our survival. And so I always let folks know I'm tickled brown to be here, okay? And if people don't quite understand that, it speaks specifically to the diversity of the world. And so I am delighted to be a part of this process and looking forward to hearing about your role and some of the things you've done on both sides, as the doctor has pointed out. So again, another super trooper, and we're delighted to have you here.
Thank you so much.
So tell us the story. Tell us the story
Oh, wow.
of the role of what you are.
I had to take a deep breath.
That's all right.
So I've been practicing for over 25 plus years. And when I first went to graduate school at St. Mary's before I completed the doctorate, of course, I almost didn't get in because they asked me if I believed in therapy. And I was like, well, I'm going to, and you can't be a caregiver, they would say, if you don't know how to be taken care of. And I was like, okay. So I went home and I thought about how the interview went. And I said, well, I've always been in therapy. For me, therapy is a formal process as well as an informal. I might call you up and say, hey, I really need some help today. And I'm calling you because I'm invested in getting that help, and I want you to help me as a friend, as a colleague.
Yes.
That's the informal therapy. Yes. The formal is 1-800, I need help yesterday. Too many numbers right there, but I need help. So I call the number, I get your name, I get an authorization, and I go see you. Mm-hmm. And so I went back to the second interview and I said, I've always been in therapy. I've had colleagues, friends, pastors, associates that were, when I was a little girl, I would ask questions. I wanted to know things. One of them would tell me, if you don't maintain eye contact with people, you're lying. Well, my dad and my mama never taught me that. So I started making eye contact, staring at people, now having an eyes and stuff when I was a little girl. And, so, okay, well, that was a good thing to learn very young, right? His name was Famous Byers. We'll get to him on another series. But Famous and I just adopted each other when I was very young, and he brought me from the age of 16 to 21. He was amazing. And then when Daddy died 10 years ago, I got this feeling that something still was missing. I'm talking about informal still. Jesus help me. So in my mind, I saw a picture of a man who came to the hospital with my 28-year-old veterinarian. She's a doctor now, praise the Lord. She's off the payroll. That's another story. But I saw him holding my daughter like she was worth a pot of gold. I saw as clearly as day. And I said, I'm going to find this man. Didn't know who he was, didn't know his name. All I knew was that he was at my church and he was on the hospital ministry. So I found him. And one day I was sitting with my husband, a big black Suburban we've had for a long time. And I called him up. And I said, this is who I am. This is why I'm calling. And by the way, would you like to meet with me? And he said, I'll meet with you tomorrow. Which he did, and we were friends for 6 years until he passed away. And when he died, his wife called. I was on my way over to the house, and she said, Rupert wants you to preach his funeral. And I did, in front of all those church people. And Max Lucado was sitting on the front row. There wasn't a dry eye in the house when I told the story how informal therapy has been a part of my life ever since I can remember. And Rupert is very dear to me. I love him. I see his wife all the time. And we just had a great time when Daddy died. So informal therapy is that process where I really believe I'm going to call you because I need you. And I need you to not treat me like it's formal. I got to call you. I got to wait for Tuesday to talk to you. If I need you like yesterday. And that's how I built my practice with my team, is be sort of like that informal, formal kind of thinker. And we've been in business now for 25 years.
Wow.
We do state, federal, and corporate contracting. We just don't own a counseling practice. Our clients are large medical practices. So, of course, they refer their clients to us. We don't have to wait for you to call because you ain't coming. You're doing well. And you, I don't know yet. We got to get to you. But people don't come. So I had to go to where the clients were. And that's what I did. So we're doing well in San Antonio. We're on the north side of town, and we just love it. And as a caregiver, we set clear, definitive boundaries. We talk soft and nice. And sometimes we have to speak sternly and give them certain suggestions. How are you holding on to that 20 years later? But it's a process. I've grown into it. I love it. My father was a pastor. Famous was a pastor. He's my other surrogate. And then Rupert, he was part of our prison ministry. So I've always had positive, strong men in my life that had led me to be who I am today.
My mom.
Yeah.
Beautifully articulated. And in our last episode, we talked about, as you build this caregiver toolkit, right?
Sure.
And our guest on that show talked about the importance of a calendar, the importance of self-care, but also this foundational faith. Now, we have discussed kind of these cross-cultural links. Yeah. Can you kind of weigh in on that, Mr. Williams, in terms of the faith component?
Absolutely. It's essential to our survival, and has been. And so many success stories have that major component of our relationship with a higher being, with God. Yeah. And I think we are where we are today largely because our faith component has been so essential to our developmental process. From a cross-cultural standpoint, often, we talk about Christianity, spirituality. I think the African American has best represented in this nation what total commitment looks like. We just simply would not have gotten to where we are today, no matter what your sway is. God has been, and a belief in God and the supreme being has been essential to our whole survival process. And so it's inspirational to hear today in 2025, people remind us of the importance of a God relationship. And so I thank you for sharing that component.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. No, see, he said something, and I want you to unpack this, because I know that for the past 6 months, you've shared that.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm going to go ahead and go here, because he said something, total commitment. And I know how passionate you are about your practice and what you're able to do there. But how are you able to juxtapose that same passion to now, for the past 6 months, caring for your mother and imploring that total commitment? Yeah, speak to that.
So I went to go pick Mama up in August. We had made this decision. There are 5 of us. I'm a middle child. I'm a middle of 5. My husband's a middle of 7. So we had that middle child kind of finesse together. So I went to go pick Mama up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was supposed to meet them in Columbus. She was coming from Beaumont. We had decided that she would be with us a month or 3 months, and then the next person. And when I got in the car and I left early to San Antonio to get to Columbus so I could sleep in the car for an hour before I was going to turn right back around and come back to San Antonio. And the Lord just said to me, faith is very important to me. This is the stupidest thing you've ever done in your life. I heard him clearly while I was sleeping. So when I woke up, I texted them and said, are y'all on the way? And then when they got there, so we didn't tell Mama nothing. I said, So then I said, we ain't doing this again. I made up my mind immediately right then. I'm not going to be traveling my mama around, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go pick her up. I didn't say anything to anybody. I made up my mind right then, I'm not going to do this to myself. I'm not going to do this to Mama, because Mama was upset. She didn't understand everything. But she was like, well, nobody said anything. And I said, Mama, you coming to stay with us. You know, you're trying to explain it to her, and you have to be calm. You have to speak softly. You can't be. So when I got home, I started telling people, she's not coming back.
Wow.
Ooh, and that baby girl.
Wow.
We ain't gonna say nothing else about that. You know, there's one in every family. Like you said on the Lion King, but there's 2 or 3 in mine. She wrote this email like, everybody need to be involved. Everybody don't need to be involved. I can work at home. I can go get a nanny. Mama has some money. If we need to, we can pull that money and pay for the nanny. So I made up my mind right then the same day. And it took about a week for them to settle down. It took about a week. And then everybody happy now. Because Mama taking care of. She got breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She watching Texas Walker Ranger. She loves Texas Walker Ranger, Lord Jesus. We turned on Texas Walker Ranger, Fred Sanford, Good Times. I mean, that's what she knows, right? So we have a little routine. We get her up. She showers. She can do all that for herself. She gets up the stairs. She can do that for herself. When she comes down, it's breakfast. We listen to an hour of gospel a cappella music. She loves that. She knows all the words. Then we sit her down for Walker till lunchtime, 1 o'clock, right? And then we turn it off. We feed her lunch. We take it to her. How are you today, princess? She cracks me up. Mama, we're serving you. Princess, you need anything else? Where's my cat? Mama, that's not your cat. That's my cat. Mama, it's the cat. That can tell you some funny stories that have happened. But not one person of the 5 have said, well, bring her back. And you know why? Because they ain't going to say it. What for? Mama got a nanny on Monday and Tuesday. Comes and sits at the house all day with her. So my husband and I can work. On Wednesday, I work at home. The nanny doesn't come, so me and my husband, we go back and forth. Thursday, I love Thursday. That's my day off. I go to dance class. I'm a tap dancer. Just started tapping in COVID. And Friday, me and my husband, we take it wherever we want to go. If you want to go, you want to go. If you don't, you don't. She doesn't always want to go because she doesn't have the energy. But we have the patience and the lifestyle that Mama can stay with us. We have it. We don't miss driving. My sister lives in Austin, so she's closer, so she can come over. About once a week, she has a daughter here, so now she's had a baby, so of course she comes even more. But then Mama has great-grandchildren here. She has grands. She has an adopted granddaughter that lives here. Her parents bring her over. Mama has a network here that's almost bigger than the one that she had in Beaumont. And because my husband and I lived here first, we've kind of brought some of these people closer to us. So, hey, Mama's doing good. She cracks me up. I can tell her in 5 minutes later, she asked me the same thing. I'm like, Mama, I just told you that. But you can't do that. We'll get to that. I'm going to wrap it up. But yeah. Yeah, that's the story. It's working.
I love how you were able to turn what could have been,
of course,
a negative pushing, pulling, and having her be that individual in the middle that's yanked from side to side. And
yeah.
You said some key things, right? Network, family. Oh, talk about the family, because we haven't delved into family dynamics, because it doesn't all work out like yours did. And I can tell you,
No, it doesn't.
I haven't, most times it's, well, I'm mad and I'm going to do this and I'm getting lawyers and I'm, how do we leverage that?
Can I just say one thing, and so you could jump in on that?
Sure.
Usually it's about the money. See, they worried about those people worried about how much money Mama got and how much you gonna spend. Hold your roll, sister. Mama deserves to use her money for caregiving. The rest of it, we can take care of it. I know everybody's not like that. I know that. But you don't have to fight with us. And I'm going to be teaching the message before you get to 88. What do you do between 66 and 88 so none of that has to happen? Because see, when it rolls up on us, that's when we show out. But if you try to take care of it ahead of time, and maybe be praying that there's one sister or one brother in the family who can take on that ownership, but then engage everybody else, because that's what we've done, then it works better. But once it's in your face, it's really hard. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
And Dr. Adams' model is a very fortunate model. Okay. And fortunately for you, you're able to have the resources. Unfortunately, in terms of mass scale, many families, I'll even go as far as to say most families, do not have the financial resources and the stamina to do what she is doing.
Stamina.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I applaud the fact that you do have that structure, and I think it's a model that we should recognize. On the opposite end, in terms of the possibilities, what occurs when there are family members who don't have the skills and the talent to do what Dr. Adams and her family is capable of doing. And so we have to look at both extremes on the continuum and realize we're going to have those who are able to do that. And at the same time, Alzheimer's, dementia is a horrific disease.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the deterioration process, as you go through the various stages, literally decimate families.
Yes.
Conflict, and it highlights conflict where we haven't talked about conflict. Okay. And money, unfortunately, does become an issue. And it takes a collective contributory approach in order to make that happen. And we have to recognize, we have to look at both possibilities. And then when we're in an advisory capacity, to consider that our advice often doesn't fit the situation that we're talking about, but we have to talk about it because there are those of us who are able to utilize those additional resources.
And the day we talk about it is the day they get the diagnosis. Wow. That's where 99% of progression, growth through the process can happen. See, Mama's 88. So chances are she's had it since 70, right?
That's right.
So we really, I've got professional family members, right? So we didn't really start talking about it. She had a granddaughter who lived with her first. But if we had started talking about it when she first got it and recognized what it was going to do to us, we would have done some things that I'm learning now to be able to teach people.
Absolutely.
So you're not doing it when she's 88. For example, quick shout out. The ACOG, Alamo Area Council of Governments, just put out a grant for us and other groups. We won part of it to teach caregiver training, like how to get mom on the schedule if she's at your house, where to find the money, the day she gets the diagnosis, how to almost in some sense create mama as not indigent, but release her from some things so she's eligible for those Medicaid and Medicare bills. Exactly. Because mama can't qualify now. You have to qualify before the memory is
absolutely
okay. So there are things that ACOG is allowing me to teach and train and learn now that I didn't know. I have this grant for 1 year, and we started in October, just as a shameful plug. And now I've got a team that's helping me build it out to be able to reach our community. We called some churches yesterday. We called some the nursing homes the day before. So we have the funds to be able to teach these trainings. And it's not just how to take care of mama. It's really the nuances of, make mama indigent if you have to, be prepared.
Work the system.
Don't use up all the money she has at the end for that. So if y'all want to live something, in the will, you have to do those things long before mama has lost her memory.
Absolutely.
The will has to be signed. And you have to decide which one's going to be the executor. Firstborn, that's what we call our oldest sister. She hates that. Firstborn, just so you know, I got it right. She is the executor, but then she was kind enough. Again, we are wired a little different. I understand that. She said, no, I want everybody's name on the will. So ain't nobody going to try to jack somebody up, try to take something, and all this business again about, we never have thought about that. We don't need to fight about it. That's her money. She worked for that. And most of us are still working. So come on now. Let's be adults. And that's who I want to talk to. If you can't be an adult and learn how to take care of mama or daddy, then I can't really help you. We have to be adults at this stage of the game, right?
And what I want to say here is both of you all kind of said some things and powerful words, but as we know, words have power. And I don't want anything you all to say to have this negative connotation. Meaning where you said shameful plug. Nothing shameful about telling people about resources that they don't know about. Then you said working the system. Nothing working about identifying opportunities that exist that 90% of individuals have no idea about.
They do not.
And I say that because as a cardiologist, my job is to keep your heart okay. But when that patient comes in that has just had a heart attack, but they're still trying to navigate caregiving, figure out how to pay for this, coordinate their schedule, make their cardiac rehab, guess what? Guess what gets pushed to the side? Their cardiac rehab. Guess what?
Right.
Pushed to the side. Their blood pressure. And it's because they don't know that, hey, there's resources to help you do X. So none of that. Nothing, no shamelessness about, and I'm not saying that to censor you. I'm just saying that these are the messages. This is the impetus behind why we wanted the Caring for the Caregiver series, because I think that most people, your family is unique. Again, there's this thing, a unicorn, where everybody was ultimately able to agree. One person took the lead. One person identified. With the help of your husband, you all developed this strategy, this plan, this structure that is allowing her to thrive. That is rare. And I'm saying that going through it personally with my father, being a healthcare professional, having a brother that's a lawyer, having a brother that's a computer engineer, having a sister that has a PhD in biology. We all were like, this isn't something that we deal with. Now, for me, my easy button in the hospital is get social work and planning, and they do all those things. But then it was, well, do you all have long-term care insurance? Well, that's a thing. And those are all things that, even as educated as we are, we were ill-equipped. And by the time the diagnosis came, just like you said, we were like, what? We were supposed to know this thing. So granted, I've leaned in since then. Of course. Your voice to explain, hey, don't wait until X. Start the process then. Ask your doctor, hey, are they showing some of those early signs? And so
Yes.
now that you have that, let's say we could take a version of you and a version of your mother and go back in time 10, 15, 20 years. What would you do at that point?
Oh, I can tell you.
Go ahead.
I can tell you, when we moved her oldest granddaughter into the home with her, we would have all met there and looked in her eyes and said, this is where we're going. Dr. Anapaldi has given the diagnosis. Daddy's already gone. We need to do these things within the next 6 months to be prepared for, because we don't know if you're going to live 10 years, 10, 15, whatever. We need to do these things right now, Mama, while you understand it. She would have fought us because Mama's she's very prideful. And I don't mean in a negative way. She just, she's a preacher's wife.
Absolutely.
That's just who she was. So it's like, Mama, we love you. You told us you never wanted to be in a nursing home. She always, that's that memory chip. We'll get to those later. But that was a memory chip. She told us from day one, I don't want to be in a nurse home. She was at RE. She worked at a nurse home. She was a great nurse, but that's not where she wanted to be. So I would have said, this is what we have to do now to ensure that you're not going to be in a nursing home. And she would have acquiesced. She would have done it. My baby brother, daddy's namesake, there's one in the family. But as the Lion King said, we have two. So the baby brother and the baby sister probably would have been but they would have come in line real quick. We probably would have sold her home back then, again, made her indigent. She doesn't need that home. She would have made some money, and she would have been able to have that money to be able to take care of her care as she went on. We still have the home. My oldest sister's name is now on the home. And so we do intend to sell the home and then divide it between all of us once she's gone. That's what she had wished for when she could finally sign the last will. She has signed the last will and testament. All 5 of us are on it. All her bank accounts have all our names on it, but we didn't take care of the medical stuff. We did not. She does have Medicare and something else. She's got all the supplements. We have that. And thank God my father worked for the Port of Miami for many years. So she's still getting the retirement and all that from him. So Mama's good. I know everybody doesn't have that, but I'm not going to just be talking to people who look and sound like me. My job is now to tell everybody, soon as they get the diagnosis, run, Forrest, run to the doctor's office, to the attorney, call a marriage and family therapist, and bring a mediator in to help you guys sit down and navigate these waters, because they're going to get rougher before they calm down. Did I make that clear enough?
You made it very
okay. I don't know. I thought I would try that.
Absolutely. And I think what we're seeing here is a perfect example of early detection and planning and taking care of the financial infrastructure.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I would be remiss if I did not point out that these diseases, particularly Alzheimer's, okay, I mentioned how horrific it is. And during our early stages of intervention, where we've taken care of a lot of the monetary necessities and structure, the disease itself and how it expresses itself and how the family responds to it is on the other island, okay? And so often we take care of a lot of the financial things. Hey, we have a place. And then we wake up one day and ask the question as the disease progresses, well, who's going to be the primary caregiver? And we often discover that we don't always have the preparatory skills to deal with the horrificness of, at least in a case like Alzheimer's, okay? I mean, it can totally be destructive for the body and the mind, and to watch the process. The early stages, many of us are in a mild state of denial about how serious, or that person will be okay for a while until the next stage strikes. And then when a person forgets who you are, or forgets the procedure of where's the bathroom at, or forgets how to dress themselves, or their bowel and bladder control is totally lost, you find that those financial preparatory things are very different than in-home care. Okay, and we all meet, and often those who were there for their early part of the care are somewhat reluctant to engage themselves and take on. I didn't know it was going to be that much responsibility. And so while we can often take care of the financial, preparatory, structural things, from the caregiving aspect, that's where the family truly is often challenged. I can express love for you, but to show that love is two different things. You say you love me, I haven't had any flowers lately. You know, I got all the words, but when it comes time to change mom or dad, have mom or dad strike at you, or you get up and they don't remember you, the whole treatment regimen shifts and changes. And so early detection, preparation, financial management are essential.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Where the rubber meets the road is that stage care in the Alzheimer and dementia process.
That's a good one.
And so it does take a collective. You talk about the family network, and often someone in the family that you didn't even think about steps up to the bat and ends up being the principal person that perhaps wasn't even involved during the early stages of financial intervention, but they have that ability to be compassionate. They're in for the total walk, where someone else is not there yet because of the career, because of the job you have.
The children.
Don't have the time.
The grandchildren.
And yes.
Life.
Yes.
Life.
Life itself. And then when the caregiver ends up needing care themselves.
I'm going to call a cardiologist. That's what I'm going to call. He can take care of my heart. Because my heart is hurting. It ain't just hurting. It's just
Yes.
it's hurting.
But it's just an aspect I wanted to point out.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
I think unpacking it from that perspective, right? Because there's that physical aspect of caregiving, there's the emotional aspect of caregiving, and then the thing that, again, and I say we, I'm talking to even me, that mental aspect of planning, pre-planning, and pre-planning, right? So understanding what will happen before it happens, before you know it's going to happen. It's like I tell my patients, there's no way I know what I don't know until I know that I don't know it.
All right.
And that's the challenge with caregiving, right? Because we all know at some point.
I got to have it depend.
I wouldn't say that, but we say that. We all will be on that side of this. And have I done my due diligence to prepare my family, to help my kids, to create this structure and this pathway, which I think from a cultural standpoint, that foundation in faith is a double-edged sword. And I say that lovingly, right? Because God's got it all under control. He certainly does, but he also gives us the wherewithal to prepare. God will take care of it. He certainly will, but you still got to do your part, right? And so as unfortunately, I wish we could keep this ship flying. As we come to land this plane, what are some key strategies that you could give folks that are in that planning stage or in it themselves, or know that at some point this is going to be me? What are some key strategy?
Well, first of all, I'm going to call you and get some pre-planning stuff locked down as far as the training is concerned. Because again, 22 years ago, we should have done that. Where I am right now is we're already looking at the end stage. So the nanny comes on Monday and Tuesday. She's there. We've already got things laid out. We've got the walker now so she can sit down when we go out. We know it's important to keep her on a routine. We know it's important not to say the same. You said that 5 minutes ago. There's a way to just say, yes, the dog is a girl and the cat is a boy. And no, they're not. You don't say they're not your pet. She thinks they're her pets now. We're going to leave you here for 5 minutes while we go take a walk. Here's the beep, beep, beep. So in case something happens, we're just going to take the dog and cover. It's just a culture of knowing how to address your needs and her needs at the same time. I would also ask the caregivers to make sure you take some time off for yourself. So you heard me say I go dancing every Thursday.
Wow.
I do tap and love that. My husband, he goes out on Thursday afternoon because he's been with her while I was gone. You just kind of find the shift to make it work. The next conversation I want to have with you, though, is to ask, well, how do we help the caregivers, staff members, know how to manage mama? Because she calling all the time, saying she don't remember when she went to the doctor. And the doctor and staff is like, if Mr. Campbell call me one more time on the screen, it's true. So I'm talking to some clinics, they want to know, what do we do when they just happen to that's the one number they remember because they called their doctor's office. So how does the caregiver team respond to those calls? And who in the family is going to be the one to manage the fact that maybe we need to take mama's cell phone right now? Most people don't have phones in their homes anymore. So I want her to have a phone she needs to dial 911. After a while, she won't remember 911. You need to just be really practical in that. So I would just say those things. Let them do what they can do until they can't. I mean, she does bathe herself and toilet herself. She does all that. I don't have to do any of that right now, right? And I can put her clothes out and say, you get to choose, but I stopped that because she's like, well, no, mama, this one looks really pretty on you. You should wear that today. Okay. Yes, she does. She doesn't like a lot of buttons. So we learned that. And then she was so funny the other day. I have to tell y'all this. She came down the stairs and the dress was on backwards. And I heard myself in a half a second, stop. I said, no, she got the dress on. She zipped it up. What difference does it make? And I said, Rosa, let's just tear the tag off so that she can wear it backwards. Because I don't want to take everything away from her. She loves color. And they send her a bunch of stuff she can't wear anymore because she's real tiny. So get her some clothes that fit, kind of things, so you don't feel awkward with her. There's just things. It's just every day there's something new, different, and I'm going to learn. But the end of the day, when she's gone to Jesus, she's going to heaven. When she goes where she's going, I want her to know, well done. That's all I care about right now.
Okay.
That's all I care about. I know these things are going to happen. I know it's going to get bad. I know we need to tell people it's going to get bad. But at the end of the day, this little bit of time, come on now, help me somebody, from 70 to 88 is only 18 years. I am 62 years old. She has been my mother for 62 years.
All right.
If I can't give her the best of what I can in this little bit of time, and if you still got issues with your mama and you 62, call me, 210-447-7373, because this is a season for your growth, not for hers. This season is for your growth. This is what my mother, she can hardly remember, but she does say thank you. And she does say, if it wasn't for my children, where would I be? And I remind her all the time. You're right, Mama. Guess I'm right here fucking. And she just laughs. I don't know if she remembers it or not, but I tell her, you're right, Mama. We're just honoring what you asked us to do. When I left home at 18, we already knew Mama didn't want to be in a nursing home. We knew that. So listen, if you have issues with your parents, call us again, 210-447-7373.
All right.
We'll try to help you out.
Oh, I'm sure you're going to do more than try.
And we'll
help them get to a place where they have equanimity, hope, and happiness with end-of-life care.
Right.
I wish we had more time. This has led us into probably a part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6, because balancing that digital divide.
Yes.
When do we leverage electronics in this setting? How do you deal with the issues that you have? That's where they come in. Call her if you need it. But all those things impact how well we can take care of our family, our network, and definitely the person that you're caring for moving forward. So I applaud you for the structure that you've provided, for the sacrifice that you made, because I can see it in your eyes that what you're doing is, you want to, there's a labor of love, but then there is this obligatory push that's driving you to continue, and not only just caring for your mama, the strategy that you've employed, kind of bringing on what you said, those other organizations and groups to really empower your organization to reach beyond, is truly the determination of what a movement is. Not a moment in time. It is truly a movement to reach back, lift up, and help others.
Thank you so much.
No problem. No, thank you. As I mentioned, this is Dr. Vats with the About That Life podcast. This episode has been one that has not only provided you with a roadmap, but more or less the timeline of understanding the evolving space, the evolving landscape that occurs in caregiving. Whether you are early in that timeline, mid-phase, or at the back end, take a good look at you, understand the limitations that you had, and really try to build it out through community, through your network, involving all those around you who we call family. We want to thank you for joining us as we build this together with the African American Network, and we truly want you to live intentionally forever.
And I got troubles and sorrows, but I wait till tomorrow. This is my take.